Hello, my dear audience, my lovely audiences, my dear fellow Angelinos. Welcome back to the East West Show. By now, the 13th anniversary, the 13th Chinese American Film Festival and the Chinese American TV Festival are over. When I say over, I'm saying about the ceremonial events are over. As a matter of fact, as we're speaking, as we're talking, we're undergoing lots of film screenings throughout November. But come to the table, though, there are lots of discussions, lots of guests accepted my invitation to come here to share their views of the 13th anniversary of the Chinese American Film Festival and the Chinese American TV Festival. Let's listen to them. They have a lot to say.
I think very interesting is this time's film festival. They invited a lot of movie stars all over in China. You know, there's a very impressive, unbelievable. How many people and how many film joined this film festival. So that's very, very impressed to me. Seems like year by year, better and better. Really professional, well organized film festival.
Yeah, when you're talking about organizing, it is quite a job. It's quite a job. When you talk about an event attended by 1,000 to 1,200 attendees, you already talk about many details, as many as you could imagine. Yeah, I was at I serve as the MC at the red carpet area, the red carpet walk, which is a big chunk of the whole event, though. The name list was about this thick on my desk. There's a pile of name lists. We go one by one. And by then, by looking at the pile of name lists, though, you know the size of the event. And there are lots of people. Filmmakers from China and filmmakers from the United States. They are the directors, actors, actresses, screenwriters, and producers, and even investors. I saw lots of investors with money, right? So what did you see the most exciting moment or most exciting thing about that event, please?
I think the recipients, they are really excited. They think they got the award, the Angel, award. They're really excited and very emotional. There are even tears.
Some were crying.
Some crying. That's really interesting. So this is showed me because those actress. So in China, people really, love them too. They have a lot of fans. I said fans, So here we got a lot of the good one. It's not somebody, they are not a well known. Those people in China, everybody knows them. They have millions, fans.
Yeah, it is a success to be recognized in China.
Yes.
But I would say it would be a bigger success, they are recognized in the United States. Because you're talking about international audiences. You're talking about American audiences. You're talking about the Chinese American audiences, right?
Yes.
Who know both countries.
Yes.
That kind of, right?
Yes.
They're connected. So when you have a recognition, you have won the award of the Golden Angel, is quite something for their career.
Oh, definitely. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So it's why they are so so getting excited for the actor and actress, because this is a major one too. It's a major one. I'm thinking about this major one.
I see.
Yeah, that's.
What was the best feature film? Because I was outside. I was doing the MC job, and I wasn't in the theater. I don't know what
got
was
it, this time they're winning the best film is the Wolf.
Oh, the wolf, the blood, the blood hunt.
Yeah, blood hunt.
The blood hunt. The
Yeah,
blood
blood
hunt.
hunt.
Talking about.
Yes.
Oh yes, a story between men and the wolves
Yes.
and dogs, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Men, dogs, and wolves.
Yes.
Right. And I saw the trailer, which is just a teaser, about a few minutes. Good.
Yes.
Good. Very exciting.
So that's the one.
The leading actor is Huang Hong. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
I know him.
Yeah,
I know him in person. Huang Hong.
Yes.
Yeah, he's wonderful. Yeah.
I think these guys are really well trained. You know, it's not only for kung fu. You know, he's very well, but he also can perform in the different roles. You know.
I believe the producer or director, or both the producer and director of that film were there last night.
Yes.
And I recall the previous night at the showcase, the film showcase, I heard them telling the story about the making of the film, the Blood Hunt. They kind of like trained about 30 to 40 wolves.
See.
And some 30 to 50 dogs. And they were there about half a year, 6 months something, in the snow, training them. That's quite
very
a
hard.
bit.
Oh, that's very hard
Quite
thing
an
to do.
effort.
Yeah, that's very professional to training the animals. You know, it's not that easy.
Not that easy.
Oh my goodness,
Not that
that's
easy.
something. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, who is the leading actor?
I-
The best actor? Oh, Wu Xiubo.
Yes.
Wu Xiubo.
Wu
Wu Xiubo.
Yeah.
Mr. Wu Xiubo is one of the, I would say not one of the mostly recognized, nationally renowned, the mostly renowned actor
Yes.
of China, right?
Yes.
And now he is known in the United States, and he's been on many of the films.
You're
Am
right.
I right?
Yes. Last night he said, next to me, a couple sit away. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but really, since he was made one movie, it's like Seattle or something, for president or somebody. That's the first I thought at that time.
When Beijing encounters with Seattle, something.
Yes, that one. I think it's very good too. Started like over there, later day by day. He's really something. A lot of people.
He's been on many
Oh,
films,
yes.
and also televisions too. Right?
Even some audience, WeChat with me said, "Oh, they feels very sorry, didn't get a chance to take pictures with him." Feeling sorry, but I didn't get I talked to take a picture with him too, but. They wanted me to do something, but I didn't. Last night, too busy.
Last night we even had some security on him.
Yeah.
To make sure that he's not bothered too much.
Yes.
Because there are too many fans would like to take picture with him.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it was picture after picture after picture after picture thing.
Yeah, right.
Right. So, and of course, he himself is a very humble guy.
Yes.
I like his manner. He's a very humble guy. He's not the high-pitched stuff. He's a humble guy. And, well, I believe he deserves what he earned, right?
You're right. Right.
Who is the leading actress?
That's from Hong Kong, right? That lady?
I
think.
The elder lady or the young
Oh, you're
young
not.
lady?
I misunderstood. I mean that one, the best
Well,
actress.
leading actress,
Yeah, leading
yeah.
actress, yeah.
Gu Yalei, was that she?
Gu Yalei is
Gu
from
Yalei.
Taiwan, basically. Golden
Angel Award for
yeah.
TV series.
TV
I
shows,
believe.
yeah.
For TV series.
Yeah.
For film, who was the leading actress?
Liu Yan or Liu Yin?
Liu Yan?
A lady,
Uh-huh.
She's come from Hong Kong, right?
I don't know. I
think
don't know.
she speaks Mandarins
Right.
like
with an accent.
Yeah, she has a
With an
very
accent,
strong
right?
accent.
Yeah.
And she's first time winning an award. and very emotional. You know, started crying.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, okay,
cannot
okay.
stop it. You know.
She never thought about it.
Yeah,
right?
and
Never
it's first
thought
time.
all of a sudden.
First time.
Quite a surprise.
Yeah,
Yes.
she received it.
Talking about industry, film as an industry, talking about film as art, talking about film with its own science, right? Okay, now, Anthony Tai is a old young friend of mine. I know him quite a lot, and I respect him for not only his acting, but his mind, and his more sophisticated than he looks. Yeah, that's what I feel. And next to him is Mona. Mona is new in the business. However, she's got a part already. She's got one foot in the door already, right? So what you do, put the other foot in. That's it. You're in. So to both of you, welcome to the show once again.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank
Okay,
you
now,
for having us.
we were talking about acting. We were talking about acting to make yourself an actor or actress to the extent that you understand why you do this. So question is that we were talking about a script, right? To you and to you, when you were acting, do you read the whole script?
Of course, I think that's very important. You have to know what you're acting, you know, of course. And right now we're actually working on a stage play, and it's actually our second stage play.
Yeah.
The first stage play we worked on, she played my girlfriend.
Oh.
You know?
All right.
But not this time, you know, she's
Not
playing
this
someone
time,
else's
yeah,
girlfriend.
okay.
Yeah. But it's not just knowing your own part, but you kind of have to know the other person's part. Cause you have to know what the person's personality is, how they talk to you, and
the whole situation.
right. You know, I think that's really important. And you know what we're doing right now is like we have to read everyone's part. We have to know, because in that case, if she doesn't know what she's doing, we could actually tell her. You know,
You can't just know only your line, only yourself, but you have to know the whole story. And in that case, you can present to you as a big family, as a big group, to tell that big story. What is it about?
All right.
Yeah.
So in acting, do you recite your line first, or do you understand your story first?
well, you know, before we read a script, there's always a synopsis. You know, we have to read what the story is about, and then we go through the lines. But usually, what we do for stage plays or for movies, for TVs, everything, we always sit down, like a table like this, for a table read. You know, we go through the lines, and then we just correct any lines that is, you know, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, do not
So we
connect,
have to kind of like go through it, and then if I think it's not right, and maybe she doesn't think it's right, we just try to, like a meeting, you know, we talk about what's the best line. So we go through it. But sometimes, table read, it's not just reading. You have to kind of put emotion in it too.
Yes, you're right.
So when you read it, when you're angry, you read it angrily. When you're happy, you read it happily. So that's kind of like to get the feeling of how, you know, the story goes. So you see a lot of stage play, they don't play it. I've been to a lot of stage play. They don't play it yet. They put a stand there. They put their script there. They dress in the play, but they don't act it out. They read it.
What?
But when they do that. I've actually been to it's like a rehearsal.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you very much. I owe you a lot for mentioning that. That is exactly the part I feel sophisticated all about, right? Nowadays, especially in the challenge of a box of office value, right? Dollar amount. Right?
Yeah.
People kind of try to do it in condensed way, in a rush. Nobody does what he does, what he says. Table rating or group rating or emotional rating or so ever. And let alone the fact that they are even looking at the prompter. You know what they do? They look at the prompter, all right? Yeah, here's the line, say it, that's it. Right? So that kills the thing. So now, when we remember when we started today, at the very beginning, I say that when we think about we're about to say bye-bye, we want to make sure that this business is in the right hands of the right people, so that the business of film will carry on, those are the worries. Those are trepidations of our time. So understand?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I just want to say, like, putting a lot of people together in one team, everyone have to have the passion. Like you said, even movie is a business. People try to make money out of it, but
no problem with that. Yes.
yeah, of course, we all wanted to make money, but the true fact is we have to love what we do. To be a filmmaker, you have to be a film lover. You have to love what you do.
Yeah.
And then, we do really have to put in all our time and then everything, what we do best into this film to make this film great, because it's art. You don't want it just to just mess it up and not to make it do a good job at it.
Yeah, and
Yes.
for some reason, I just feel like right now the whole things in Hollywood is just in general right now for film industry. I feel like everything is all about business. It's not like we see like movies, TV shows like back in the 80s, 90s. You see like everything. The character is just so right there. Everyone, just everything is perfect, and you touch your soul, touch your heart, and you remember that character forever. And now I just feel like everyone just want to make money, and they don't put so much effort that it used to be. So it turns out when you go into the movie now, while you're watching it, and you start like questioning why they should like put this words here, and why this character not laughing instead of crying. So much like.
Anthony, if I say you have a heavier duty, you have a bigger job to do than we, do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I think
I'm
so.
not trying to degrade our generation. I'm talking about during our generation at our time. You mentioned about 80s or 70s or 90s whatsoever. Films were like films, right? We're talking about your acting. In my mentor's term, you are revisualizing life. You put life on screen. In other words, you live on screen, like that kind. That's what we call film acting. Now in the fast food time, everything is a snack, so including films, like she says, like what I said, reading from a prompter, right? By that, I mean, Anthony, before we end up the show, before we wrap up, I want my audience to hear that as a representing young role for life, Anthony Tai understands that you have a bigger job to do.
Yes, because I don't really want to say my age, but I'm turning 31 next week, and
you look like 18, 19 already.
Thank you, just like you, I know. But I mean, that's
why I call you brother.
Of course, this is the age where you're trying to put two different generations together, like our generations and then younger generations. Not just two different generations, but also two different cultures. That's what we do here. We're trying to build.
And the different times.
Of course, and then we're trying to build the Chinese culture and then American culture into one film. It's not easy to build that bridge. It sounds easy, but it's kind of, when you do it, it's kind of really hard. And as a filmmaker, as an actor or a producer, and what I really wanted to do is, I wanted to actually make that bridge firmer. Trying to make a film and then put everyone who loves film together to build a great team to make one film that could be accepted in two different countries or culture, but not just two countries, but the whole world. To see it. You don't see a lot of films that are like Rush Hours or a lot of different films. It's not easy, but like you said, it's a heavy duty. We have to find the right content, the right project, the right people, and then the right passion to do it, to put together. All
right, and to do the business as in a way as life is, right? So in other words, you're not acting in life, you're kind of revisualize the fact of life.
Of course. No matter what generation we are or what century we are, we should never forget about the past.
All right.
Just like
thank you very much.
I mentioned like 80s, 90s movie.
Yeah, thank you very much.
The young generation should learn from the past,
right.
And then observe and combine the new technology now to the old
you
tradition.
You too sound more sophisticated than you look. Thank you very much for doing that. My dear audience, in that case, I would claim the credit in name of the Chinese American Film Festival and the Chinese American TV Festival, because during the past 13 years, we have catered a bunch of young people like him and like her who tends to understand the business as a business, who tend to understand the responsibility and the shoulder and the weight on the shoulders as filmmakers, right? Once again, with me as my good friend, a very, very promising young actor, Anthony Tai. As a matter of fact, he's young, but in acting, he's a veteran already, right?
Thank you.
And to his right, we have Mona Arkin. She is new, but she is a fast learner, and she speaks perfect English. Also, she is more sophisticated than I thought. Than she looks. She understands the industry. She understands the business. I believe that Chinese American Film Festival and the Chinese American TV Festival have done a great job, at least in recognizing young people like the two, right? And to my audiences, to wrap up the show, though, you want to say a few words to your audiences? Someday you might be popular. You want to make a promise whatsoever, come back with them with $1 million, say, hey, here's my $1 million, something like that.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, just please remember me. My name is Mona Arkin. You never know, maybe you might see me one day on the Hollywood red carpet and holding that Best Actress Oscar.
I see. Okay,
everything could happen as long as you put your heart in it and just love what you do.
All right.
Yeah, that's for the young generation.
Thank you very much. And you, Anthony,
I was just going to say that, maybe the next time you interview her, she's going to bring a award here.
Yeah, of course.
And then,
how about Golden Angel Award, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you won one.
I did.
Right?
I did. I actually won technically two. The first one is myself. The second one is the TV series that I've been a part of.
You're part of.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I'm very honored, and I wanted to thank, CAFF, and also hopefully maybe next year I could attend another CATF, the second.
Very good.
And of course, then it's a great platform, and I wanted to thank EDI and also GNE Studios for providing this platform for us, for our generation, to be a part of a filmmaking process.
Together we cultivate this piece of land.
Actually, I'm really honored to get to know CAFF and CATF. When I get the invitation from the friends from PGA, the producers American of Guild of America, and they are very, very good to tell me this event when I arrive, and the event host in Paramount Studio. So in the first, wow, Paramount. So okay, I got a chance to get into to take a look. So when I get in, wow, I see that very impressive. It's all Chinese professionals and also very famous producers, directors in Hollywood, and everybody share the experience and teach each other, and we want to get to know how to cooperate together. So that's a good chance for us, for everybody. So
the other day when we were doing the film summit, the panel discussion.
Yes.
And you were there for both sessions, right?
Yes.
Both the morning session and the afternoon session.
Yes, I'm good
Very
student.
good. Very good. Which session or which subject impressed you most? About the co-production and co-marketing, co-distribution, among all the though, what impressed you most?
Okay, first of all, I'm really impressed about the morning submits. Especially, we are talking about the co-production. I get to know the first co-production, worldwide, is Great Wall, right? But that's most important thing for me is seeing everybody to talk about Great War, and we don't afraid to failure, because we learn from the failure. So I'm very impressed that everybody sit down and to like try to get to the right way, the right direction after Great War. So in the morning, I learn a lot about how to cooperate, what's the feature, what's going on. The box office very good in China, especially the first best box office is Werewolf.
Werewolf,
yeah. And
they
the
either
second
made
one
a
is
record
Army.
or something, yes.
Yeah, and that's really impressive because the Hollywood movies is not taking one ranking in China anymore. That means we can do like Chinese contents, and also we can work with Hollywood. So that's very impressive for the market.
To young people like you, though, do you think the theme or the story of Werewolf impress you more, or do you think these Star Wars, kind of like we drag any Hollywood film name, which will impress you more? In other words, do you think the theme or story of a Werewolf in here will fly?
Yeah. Well, I must say, Werewolves very impressed me even more than Star Wars, because everybody knows Star Wars. The content is like constantly improve and adding more. But for the Werewolf, the part impressed me is because it's showing the Chinese how we react and to take the position in this world, and showing our voice to like the whole world. So that's why I think the movie will be popular in China, because everyone have attached it. So yeah.
Okay, before we go any deeper though, how do you define yourself? When I say how do you define, I mean, do you consider yourself a Taiwanese or American or a citizen? I don't know. Anyway, you stayed there only 2 years, right?
Yes, only 2 years.
Okay, so where do you position yourself
Yeah.
before I could go any further?
Yeah. Well, to myself, I was thinking I'm world citizen, because in the past 2 years I travel a lot from Taiwan to UK and to US, and even I went to like Tokyo, Korea,
I see.
and like I'm seeing myself like world citizen, and I like what I did right now, I trying to find a position and to voice like voice for the human rights, or
All right,
to
good.
like do something different to change this world.
All right, good.
Yeah,
good,
that's
good.
I'm really looking for myself.
The reason I'm asking
Yeah.
is exactly based upon the fact that I would like to find out from your mind, or from your perspective, is the story, or will the story of Werewolf be accepted by American people, especially American young people your age?
Well, to be honest, it's my personal opinion. I don't think so, because it's more talking about the power of China right now. So I will say they probably will enjoy the whole entertainment part, but the element of the spirit for Chinese, I think like it's more Chinese.
All right.
No, I don't really exactly remember those. Yeah. Only actor. Actress, yeah.
You're focusing on actors
Yeah,
and
right,
actors,
definitely.
right? You're focusing
The
on
actor,
acting.
the guy, he was performing on different things, like both movies, very impressive too, this guy, It looks very young, but it's not that young, but it looks very young, And I hope you remember the guy, he's director's not there, he's received some award last night.
Well, you just name their film.
He was He was mayor, played the mayor.
Oh, he played the mayor. Of
Yeah.
In the name of the people. In the
Yes.
name of the people.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Another one is he was pretty much action for security. You know, some officer for some
I see.
captain. You know, in that movie. You know,
Okay.
both. You know.
Anyway,
yeah, very different.
those are eye catchers, right?
Yes.
To most people, such as myself, I'm more impressed about the fact that in China, when the film is concerned, they don't emphasize to writer, screenplay writer,
Yeah. Right.
as
You're
much,
right. You're
as
right.
much,
Yes.
right? Here, when you talk about film, you talk about screenwriter and director first. Okay, now put it this way: in United States, when you see an advertising, you see, for example, Steven Spielberg,
Yes.
a film, a Steven Spielberg film,
Yes.
the title, right?
Yes.
And screenplay by title.
Yes.
Right? And then, only after the names are displayed, you start to see the name of the actors and the actress.
Actress.
That's the way of the U.S. market, in the U.S. market, how the advertising goes. In China, you see the contrary. When you see a film, right? Before you see a film, before you see the film, you see the face already. Because the face, the big face picture, is more often than not used as a huge background of the billboard or something. For example, a Winston Lee picture, right?
Right.
A Winston Lee film of a 405 murder case, or murder case 405, put it that way.
Yeah.
Winston Lee, the face, and then Winston Lee film, murder case 405. As to who wrote it,
Yes.
who directed, director maybe these days their name's on, right? Back then you don't even see the director's name.
Yeah.
You don't even know who directed.
People don't remember him. You never know him.
Yeah.
True.
And there was a one event, instant. I went to a concert, and there was the celebration of the 100 year of Chinese film. Right? For the Chinese film, they put all the songs together, the theme song of the films of 100 selected films during the back 100 years. Right? Every song sang on the stage by a news performer. Of course, they gave name to the original performer who first primed it.
Yes.
They gave the name of during the time interval, who sang it successfully, and the one tonight on stage, whom, without knowing who wrote the song.
Right.
I was looking for the musician who composes it,
Right.
and the writer who did the lyric. No.
Sorry about that. That's
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a very, very, very sorry part
Sure.
that I believe that we want to lead, to put it as a message to our folks back there in China to learn. Right?
Yes.
So now, how you want to address this issue that I brought up?
I agree with you. You know, their work is very important. Without that, without actor
You don't have a film,
performance,
right?
no films.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really, really important. See, it reminded me something in China when music or sound writer called Wang Lobin.
Oh, Wang Lobin, yeah,
yeah.
Wang Lobin, yes.
Long time ago, we don't know his name. Right now, we started knowing, his name.
But he's no longer there.
Oh yeah, because a lot of the sound is beautiful forever. It's
Yes.
really year by year for a lifetime. Always that, always alive. I mean the music.
Yes.
But long time ago, you never know who wrote that.
The big word at the film discussion, at the showcase discussion, even at the on stage, when people do their after winning expressions or their remarks. The word co-production, co-whatever, are used so common that the word CO almost became the most frequently used word. So, to your take, when the word co is concerned, when the area film is concerned, how many areas, which are those areas they can co?
Director, you know, the
Co-directing.
yeah, co-director, you know, and co-cinematographer, and even writer, you know, they have some different
Co-writing.
Yeah, co-writing, they because have some culture element, you know, put together, you know, that's very important. Most is, I think, it's a co-director. Different way, because American way, you know, foreign way. I said foreign way different than Chinese way sometimes. So they put together would be much, much better. Sometimes you should use a Chinese way, or sometimes American way. Chinese way sometimes I think is a detail, you know, smooth, you know, sometimes slow, you know, they show you almost everything. But foreign, you know, or American way, sometimes they let the audience thinking. When show something, you know, visually you saw something, made you thinking, a lot thinking. It's not the showing something there. So that's my thoughts, you know, so they're different. So I like that. Or sometimes right now the Chinese audience got used to for, you know, the things is very quick, you know, changed. The Chinese long time ago, so, you know, just you feel the story is slow, you know, pretty slow. But the foreign films,
You mean
too
the pace?
fast. Yeah, pace.
You mean the
too
pace when the
rhythm too, you know, it's fast, very fast. So without you think, you know, change it. But Chinese movie just like you know, it's pretty. And after you read
more
understood,
static,
yeah, you understood
more
it,
subtle.
whatever, yeah. Foreign
Anyway.
film, you know, after you're still thinking, I have understood that something.
The
that,
whole
oh,
thing
yeah.
starts with the writing.
Yes.
Starts with the writing, right?
Of course.
You write it away, well, in a condensed way.
Yes.
Let the story go fast.
Yes.
Right? Or you write in a subtle way. Let story just grow like trees, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you mentioned co-production, right? Co-directing, even co-marketing,
Yeah.
right? Whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Photography, cinema photography.
I said cinema photography,
Yeah.
all right, and the last area mentioned was that co-writing,
Co-writing.
right? Okay, in terms of co-writing, or I say, as long as co-writing is concerned, in which aspect you think, to your knowledge, can be co-written?
You know, they have to learn from each other. Definitely learn each other. You know, Chinese is this old country. You know, I said 5,000 years history. You know, they have wonderful books. You know, write a story, something. You know, it's really great. And those, you know, writers, anyway, they're long gone. But they give to us, you know, the kind of really rich things. So Chinese writers learn from that too. That's like a Bible from them. So the Americans, you know, the foreigners, they are different. Western thoughts. They should be, if you production together, you have to things, you know, right too. So learn from each other, you know, will make it more powerful. So Chinese audience will receive it, you feel familiar, love it. You know, and Americans, they feel familiar, you know, they love it. So both, you know, they enjoy it. So that's, I think, is important. Learn from each other. I still think about this too, you know, because we do exchange, you know, some from China and the United States. I always make a point. I said, it's not a Chinese only learn from Americans. Americans have to learn Chinese too.
Yes.
Both.
Both ways.
Yeah,
Both ways.
So that's it will be more powerful. That's the way to do the co-production.
All right.
As I'm thinking.
Speaking of co-writing, though, I tend to believe that in co-writing, the co-story writing is more important than anything. You may put 2 writers of America, 2 writers of China, there, make them write a Chinese story. For example, what is that? Great Wall.
Oh, yes.
The Tao Ti, the animal thing.
Yeah.
That's a Chinese story, right? And I believe there are Chinese writers, there are American writers. Together, they wrote a Chinese story, right? Vice versa. Another example, you may see a Chinese writer and the American writer sitting there. They wrote an American film, American story. My point is that how about we make a human story, right? Without separating the story to American or Chinese, just a people story, people story. Now that we understand filmmaker is a storyteller, right? When you tell a story, why do you have to tell a Chinese story? Why do you have to tell American story? Why don't you tell human story?
The good point.
Right?
Yes.
When human story is concerned, could be a story of you and me, and together we are Chinese. We talk about the Chinese story. That's a human story. Now, in a broader sense, you're talking about EDI story. At EDI, on the EDI team, you have people speaking English, you have people speaking Spanish, you have people speaking Mandarin Chinese, you have people speaking Cantonese, whatsoever. Those languages are not interactive, at least to me. However, day to day, the EDI story goes on happily, smoothly, everything. Okay, this is a human story, right? I didn't put a divider, say, hey, you guys belong to the English part and you guys belong to the Chinese part. I didn't do that, right? So all together. So in order to do the co-writing, I call people to do this kind of co-writing. Do you think you agree with me?
Yes, I agree. Human stories. Yes.
Human story, yeah.
But sometimes if you choose some different stories, will be differently. But human story, of course, talk about humans come from different countries or areas. They can put together. But sometimes when the culture different, you talk about a story will be different. But you still can, different culture will feel comfortable to learn from the story, really what is that story talk about. So they learn from that. So I think same as in China, long time ago, they think about the Jesus look like something.
Yeah, I have a dream.
Yeah, yes.
Someday when I have time,
Yeah.
maybe after my retirement, I'll write a story about the Chinese railway workers. When they came over to build their railroad, Pan American Railroad, and their day-to-day life was mingled with the American,
Yes.
or British American,
Yes.
or Spanish American, or Brazilian American, all come on one site of work,
Yes.
right? There are guts, there are wisdom,
Yes.
there are muscles, there are power, there are money.
Yes.
Money-driven, muscle-driven, right? Whatever. And then I would put a few girls there on the site for the men to go around.
Definitely, you should have that. Definitely, the part of that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I can't say more because I want to I want to pattern it or I copyright it. Anyway, that will tell you a human story, number one, and the human story should be more vivid.
Yes.
Do you think so?
Oh yes, and when you say that, I visited the railroad a lot of times. St. Louis baseball over there. I got a visit and see a lot of historical things. And anyway, you reminded me one thing about the miners. Montana. They have one city called
miners.
Butte.
Yes.
Butte. International, miners going there to dig the, coal, dig something. Chinese miners there too did a lot of things. There's great stories over there, year by year. So I visited quite often. I did some good things for cultural exchange. So Montana, the state, gave to me a honorable Montana citizen.
I see.
Yeah, because I did something.
Good
but
for
if
you.
if you got a chance, you ride a railroad, and you can visit there too. I have a lot of connection with them.
Sure.
That's great stories.
Sure.
A lot of Jews.
All I need is somebody
live
to
it.
invest me.
Oh yeah. They're
Right.
definitely. I have a lot of friends there over there
Sure.
too. Still,
Very good.
you can. That's really interesting because I only listened to that, already.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
You get
already.
excited already,
Oh
right?
yes,
Okay.
already. Yeah.
And we move back the story to the gold rush
Yeah.
and to the railroad construction stuff.
Yes.
And then, well, that could be a hell of a